But we want to begin tonight in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And this is a case that took place in the middle of the riots in Kenosha in the summer of 2020. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of people on the streets that night. 3 of them got shot by Kyle Rittenhouse, the defendant. 2 of them died. 1 survived, testified in court. But there are also lots of cell phones, lots of video of everything that is happening. And I thought we had seen it all when all of a sudden some new video appeared. And this involves the first shooting, the shooting of Joesph Rosenbaum, the one where the initial 2 videos that we've seen during the course of the trial, kind of far away, you don't exactly see everything, but now there's a new video. It was a drone. Can you imagine at the moment that Kyle Rittenhouse is shooting Joesph Rosenbaum and being chased by Rosenbaum, someone has a drone up in the sky and is recording all of it. And the quality of it was enhanced by an expert just given to the defense on Friday in the middle of the trial, but it was shown today. So I'm going to show it to you. This is, what they did is they zoomed in on it. Take a look. There you see Kyle Rittenhouse running, Rosenbaum behind him, and there's the shot. That quick. That quick. And there you see Richard McGinnis, the witness who is behind all of this. Show it to you one more time. Again, this is in real time, right? This is in regular speed. You see how quickly everything happens. Now, what I want to do is take the same video, and it's going to be slowed down, zoomed in a little bit more so you can see it a little more clearly. And they did this inside the courtroom as well. Now we'll take a look a little bit slower. What is Rosenbaum doing right before he is shot? Is he lunging? Is he reaching for that gun? Happens quickly. This is now evidence in the case. This is evidence in the case. But again, you see the person on the left side of the screen. That's Richard McGinnis. He testified as an eyewitness describing what he saw. We'll take one more look at it. There's the chase. You see McGinnis in the back. Rittenhouse turns, fires. Is Rosenbaum lunging? Is he reaching for that weapon? Is he closing in on Kyle Rittenhouse? Did we just witness self-defense? Let's do this. I want to show you one more thing. I want to take another listen to the testimony of the eyewitness who was there and take a listen to what he said, because he's got a clear, an even clearer picture, I believe, than what this video shows us. But does what he described in court match up with this new video? Okay, take a listen.
You said your eyes were focused on the barrel of the weapon.
Yes.
Where was the barrel of the weapon pointed?
At this moment, when he stopped, it was aimed about 45 degrees at the ground.
Did the aim of the barrel of the weapon change?
It did. And when Mr. Rosenbaum lunged, Mr. Rittenhouse kind of dodged around. And then that's when it was leveled at Mr. Rosenbaum and fired.
What was the position of Mr. Rosenbaum's body when the defendant fired at him?
Well, there were 4 shots, but it was like in one continuous motion. It was like a lunge towards the front portion, a dodge around, and when he missed, his momentum continued forward.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second.
Yeah.
When he missed, who's he?
Mr. Rosenbaum, I'm sorry.
Please
Yes.
continue.
When Mr. Rosenbaum did not make contact with Mr. Rittenhouse, or it wasn't clear to me whether or not they made contact, but what was clear to me was that the trajectory of the rifle wasn't really altered by Mr. Rosenbaum's lunge. So if they did make contact, then it was just a glance. It wasn't enough to alter the trajectory of the rifle, but and again, this is just because that was the only thing that I was looking at that point, and it's not clear to me whether he basically fell forward, but that was as.
I'm going to stop you for a second because you said he again. Can you?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rosenbaum.
Okay. He fell forward.
Yes, like it was as if, if you were to lunge at somebody, if anybody were to lunge, they'd probably stop themselves, from falling face down on the ground, but the shots were fired in the exact instance that his momentum was going forward, and that continued until Mr. Rosenbaum landed on the ground.
That was the eyewitness testimony. the video that was shown today to this jury, does it match up? If so, what does it mean? If it doesn't match up, what does it mean? And how was all this received inside the courtroom? Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter, who joins us from Kenosha, Wisconsin tonight. Chanley, great to see you. To me, this was an important moment. I mean, that angle, much different than everything else that we've seen relative to the shooting of Joesph Rosenbaum. Tell me first about how this was received in the courtroom, the reaction, if any, inside the courtroom when this video, this enhanced video, was played.
I'm so impressed with this jury, Vinny. All throughout the trial, they've been taking in visual elements, videos, photos. Today was no different. This is a video they looked on to with interest, and they took notes, they studied, they scrutinized the video, they followed what the prosecutor was trying to show them through this witness. And there's a reason why the prosecutor waited until the culmination of its case in chief to play this video, because like you said, the angle of it gives a unique first impression that we haven't seen before, these jurors haven't seen before, and they hope that it goes to support their theory of the case, which is that Rosenbaum was not at a distance where he could have even grabbed Kyle Rittenhouse's weapon, and that he was in fact falling forward when he was shot.
That, you know, I've watched it many times. I've slowed it down. I've tried to break it down frame by frame. You know, when you do that, it gets even more difficult to see. Does this jury have a frame-by-frame version of this? I saw what was played in slow motion, but do they have the frame-by-frame so they can look at it from moment to moment?
They were shown an enlarged version, something slowed down by 50%, and that was it. I'm like you, I want a frame-by-frame version of this video, but that was the point on cross-examination the defense tried to bring out, is that it becomes blurry and hard to tell exactly what is happening when you do slow down the video, because when you're zooming in so far. So it sounds as if, with the defense picking apart the pixels, the number of frames per second that this video was made with on cross-examination, they may have their own digital experts come in. In fact, there are 2 on their witness list, Vinny, to analyze it even further and maybe in a better way.
And this was the way prosecutors ended their case, right? This was it. This was the big finish, the exclamation point at the end of your case in chief.
It really was. Actually, the medical examiner followed this video, and the testimony of the medical examiner corroborated, according to the prosecution, what these jurors saw in the video, which was that Rosenbaum was kind of falling forward and also shot in the back as the kill shot. So that was I guess a great way to end the prosecution's case for them, given the evidence they have in this case, Vinny, to show the video and then corroborate that with the medical expert testimony.
Did the medical examiner speak at all about the distance between the gun and Joesph Rosenbaum? Anything to give this jury something in addition to the video, the eyewitness? Was there any forensic evidence that would give this jury a clearer picture of the distance and exactly where Rosenbaum and his hands were at the time that the gun was fired?
He certainly did, and the defense was able to bring that information out on cross-examination of the medical examiner, Vinny. But the medical examiner told this jury probably about 4 feet between Rittenhouse and Rosenbaum in those moments, and the medical examiner agreed that he could have been lunging or falling. Both were possible in the moments based on the injuries to Rosenbaum, and the defense, Mark Richards, really made a point, even had a demonstration with an AR-15 rifle inside the courtroom about the injury to Rosenbaum's hand with stippling and burn marks, how close his hand was to the barrel, and the medical examiner was able to agree on cross-examination that in fact his hand could have been reaching towards that barrel in that moment to create those types of injuries.
Unbelievable. There's so much information, yet it's still not 100% clear one way or the other. Chanley Painter, stand by. Let's bring in tonight's think tank. Joining us tonight in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Albert Wunsch III, in Seattle, Washington, trial attorney Ann Bremner, and in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor and law professor at Texas Southern University, Michael Sterling. Great to see everyone tonight. Al, I'll begin with you on this video. What did you just see? Did you just see a murder? Did you see self-defense?
What I saw is the 21st century Zapruder film. It is going to be analyzed, like you said, frame by frame, minute by minute, and it's going to be looked over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. But it does not look like self-defense. It really doesn't. I think he tripped and went forward. And what I don't understand is why the prosecution hasn't made like a chicken and the egg argument about this case in the beginning. What's he doing there in the first place with an AR-15 at his age, okay, from another state?
Okay, that's one of the charges. That's one of the charges. We've got it. They're going to make that argument out. But my question is, let me go to Ann. I'll come back to you, Al. Ann Bremner, what did you just see in that video? Did you see a murder? Did you see self-defense?
Vinny, I'm not sure. And that's, the prosecution kind of ended on a whimper, in my opinion, not with a bang. You look at primacy and decency. I don't know what I saw. I thought maybe he was lunging for it. Maybe he wasn't. I agree with you. Great minds think alike. We need frame by frame. The jury needs that. I don't care how blurry it is. Give them each and every frame. Because you've got the ME saying, maybe he fell, maybe he was lunging. That's the expert, who examined the wounds in the body and the stippling. And, we watch this and you could see it both ways, I think, with equal bases, to say one is self-defense, one isn't.
Michael Sterling, you're the professor. If you showed this to your class, what would you say?
Well, I tell my class that we've got to pay attention to not only the video, but what happened, previous to it. In Wisconsin, there's a basic 5-part framework for self-defense. There, innocence, was he the initial aggressor? There's imminence, meaning that was the danger immediate or ongoing. There's proportionality, meaning that was the deadly force proportional to what was coming at him. There's avoidance. Wisconsin is one of the few states of about 14 states that has a duty to retreat. And then there's reasonableness. So the question is, does he meet each of those elements to demonstrate reasonable doubt? And if he does, can a prosecutor disprove those beyond a reasonable doubt? I think when it comes to proportionality, to reasonableness, the prosecutor has some very strong arguments that what the force he used, the deadly force he used, was not proportional to the force that Rosenbaum was using.
This is it's amazing with all the video we have, there's still some level of gray area here, and we'll see. The defense is going through their case, and we're going to talk more about this in just a moment.